Well, on this episode, ChocoPro is back with another season, with season 11, with number 181, with three amazing matches. We have, of course, a singles match, a three-way match, and a tag team match. But it also is the birthday of one half of the Egg Tarts, Hagane Shino, which is a very, we can say, happy birthday, Hagane. And you are the silent knit warrior. And also, New Japan concludes with the winners who's going to be going to Wrestle Kingdom in both Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League. And finally, winter has come. Hangman Adam Page puts his AEW title on the line against Bryan Danielson. Will Hangman Page retain the title, or will Bryan Danielson will win it? And of course, we cannot forget the grudge match between Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. And then finally, of course, the Dynamite Diamond Ring is put on the line. If MJF wins, he could become three-time winner. So that's pretty much what we got to review, but also some interesting news developments that we're going to share coming from Terminus with two new announcements. And of course, a very interesting development took place regarding five Yoshi wrestlers coming from Ice Ribbon. It appears they got some plans to do once they leave their promotion Ice Ribbon, and this is going to be very interesting to talk about. So let's get started with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay, right here. So, let's begin with the return of ChocoPro. Yes, they're back with season 11. You probably ask yourselves, how long did it take? Well, according to Bali Aki, it takes about 10 days for them, which is good. You know, some of these guys are participating in other promotions, such as DDT Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Yoshi Pro, At Risk Girls, or wherever some of these people. Now, these wrestlers are mostly freelancers, but there are those who are mostly from the Gato Move promotion run by Emi Sakura, who we all know where she's at right now. Now, the opening match, we have Sayaka Obihiro taking on none other than Balinaki. As you know, Balinaki in the last season wasn't a losing effort. He did not have his best bro with him since she was right here in the States, you know, being on excursion, learning everything she needs to know about pro wrestling, especially when she's siding with her mentor, Emi Sakura. So it was a pretty good match, but I think right now Balinaki is more motivated than ever. Now, he knew he could win this match because he is currently the guy who's going to challenge for the interim title that Shon Shido has. Now, Shon is willing to defend that title no matter what. And of course, he ended it with like jumping off the window, landing on top of her like a frog splash type of maneuver. So he won the match just like that. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have Masahiro Takanashi taking on Sawadi Kamen versus Coyote Yonoyame, who we all know her as one of the best wrestlers and a veteran in the game. She's also Fukigen Death in Stardom. It was a pretty good match. You know, I have to say, there were times I have noticed how Kiari is always siding with Masa, but Masa is CDK, and he particularly won the match when he pinned Sawadi in the match. But however, the match was interrupted when someone tossed Sayaka Obihiro into the mat, and it was none other than Masahiro's opponent, um, Daisuke Sasaki, who is currently the DDT Universal Champion. Masa's going to challenge for that title, and he wanted to warn him out, attack him, invaded his home, trying to beat up everyone in his pet, including Balinaki. But luckily, Chris Brooks showed up to give him the helping hand. Basically, Sasaki has no respect for nobody but himself, and he was trying to eliminate the competition. Our next match, we have a tag team action. We have Yuna Mizumori teaming up with Chris Brooks. Now, Yuna is not happy with Chris Brooks after the last time her flamenco was destroyed, all thanks to Chris Brooks and his tag team partner during that time, Dre Parker. Uh, Basically, Chris tried to apologize in every way, but yeah, but they had hands full against a team who have been told they could be the next team to defeat the Best Bros for the Asian Dream Tag Team titles, and I'm talking about the X Tarts, consistent of Too Much Energy, Chiko Ishikawa, and the Silent Ninja, Hagane Shino. This was one of those matches where, of course, this is one of those matches where we can see that Hagane could win this one because it's his birthday, and that's exactly what took place. He particularly won the match when he pinned Yuna Mizumori. Excuse me. And it was a very disappointing loss for Yuna, but Hagane won pretty well. Now, the Jonkin tournament, as you know, is very interesting. I was hoping that Hagane was going to win, but no. Um, it it ended up with Kiori Yonayama. She won. I'm like surprised, but yeah. Now, on a side note, in the post show, um, Masahiro Takanashi has announced that this coming weekend we will have more ChocoPro, and I'm excited to see. I hope we get to see Lulu wrestle again, and of course, I want to see if Mei Shiruga will come back. We still anticipate her return. We do know she's back here. She's back in Japan. Emi Sakura is riding solo, but yeah, I'm very excited for that. But I think right now we need to end it right here and move on with the finals of New Japan Pro Wrestling with Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League. Okay, we conclude now who will go into the Tokyo Dome to take on two championship matches that we're going to have. We have the conclusion who wins World Tag League and Best of the Super Juniors. A lot of good things took place in this particular on the finals. So let's go from start to finish. We have Ryusuke Taguchi teaming up with two young lions with Kosei Fujita and Yudo Nakashima taking on Suzuki-gun, Doiki Takamichinoku, and Minoru Suzuki. However, in this match, I like what the commentators said. Takamichinoku and Suzuki-gun had the worst year of the tag league. They had no wins. Minoru Suzuki was pissed. You know how he gets pissed if there's no wins or loss involved. So he was put in a short leash. But what I did like about this, the two young lions, they want to confront Minoru Suzuki. Now, this is something that has happened before in the past with Yuya Uemura. He wanted to challenge him, but it was no avail. So we're seeing a similar situation here. But however, it was Doiki who put Yudo Nakashima out with what how Gino Gambino would say, the Choki Doki. So, the Doki Choki or whatever they call it. I don't know. But it did put Takamichi Chinuku off the hook, so he wouldn't be put under the bus by Minoru Suzuki. Our next match, we have tag team action. We got the cute Bullet Club's cutest tag team, El Fantasma and Taiji Shimuri, taking on Tiger Mask and Rohi Oiwa. Now, this was also another good match with some very interesting complications. If they pin Tiger Mask, there are a possibility that this team, the cutest tag team, can get a shot of the WGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. And of course, that's what it was. But however, it was El Fantasmo that finished off Rohi Oiwa with the sudden death right in his face, allowing for Taiji Shimori to pick up the victory. However, they decided to give a beatdown onto Tiger Mask until Robbie Eagles, Tiger Mask's tag team partner, shows up to give him a helping hand, and then all of a sudden we get the surprise appearance of Ryusuke Taguchi. We thought at first he was going to give a helping hand, but it appeared he had his other plans. He attacked both Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles, staking his claim he wants a shot of the tag team titles with Rocky Romero. So basically, this is something that the mega coaches will get involved, and now it's been confirmed it for Wrestle Kingdom. It will happen. Next up, we got 8-man tag team match. We have Master Wato teaming up with GHB's Toma Akihama and Togi Makabe, along with Chaos member Toru Yano taking on the other members of Suzuki Gun. We got Desperado, Kanemaru, and of course the Dangerous Techers, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. This was one of those matches where you know it's going to be the worst. Now, it was Kanemaru who picked up the victory when he pinned Master Wato. Those two guys have some bad history ever since Wato returned from his excursion down in Mexico and basically taught him a lesson. Next up, we got another 8-man tag team match. We have Bullet Club's consistent with Chase Owens and Balak Fale teaming with GOD, Tamatanga and Tangaloa, taking on the Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and of course, the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, in this match, they mentioned a lot of things. As you know, Tanahashi was the previous title holder of the IWGP United States Championship, but he lost it to Kenta. Now he's been asking for a rematch. Kenta has no intentions of putting that title on the line, but something did happen. But for right now, there is another person who wanted a shot of the tag of this title, and that is none other than Chase Owens. Now he was supposed to initial the challenge, but it never happened. So it's still unclear what happened to Chase. Why didn't he issue a challenge to Kenta? It's still unclear. But it was Tanahashi who pinned Chase Owens to make it sound like he is ready to take on Kenta. But however, in the post-match, Kenta sent a message telling him he had no interest of however, he decided to give him a stipulation. No disqualification match, which is in Kenta's wheelhouse. You know, he'll try to wait a way to win it. That's exactly what he wants. And in response, Tanahashi decided to accept the challenge. Excuse me. Now, we were told prior to this, Katsuyori Shibata, if you guys remember him, he was one of the most popular wrestlers ever until an injury put him on the sideline. He said he had a major announcement. And it turned out that major announcement is going to happen is he has a match on January 4th of 2022. This is great. We know he had like some sort of like UWF fighting rules with Zack Sabre Jr. and it was good, but it's still unclear why. Now, those who are not familiarized with Katsuyori Shibata, he had to retire from in-ring work because he suffered a concussion. And because of that, it put him on the sideline, and he left Japan to start teaching wrestlers at the LA Dojo, which he's done a good job. But it's great to hear that. And here's the thing: the same venue where they were at is the same venue where Shibata had announced his retirement, which was sad. But yeah. Our next match, we have the United Empire, the Great Khan, and the return of Jeff Cobb taking on LIJ, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. This was a brutal match. However, Khan took out Sanada, but it was Naito who made up the big victory against Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb was livid. He couldn't believe it that he lost to Naito, and he chased after him. But there is no doubt in my mind that they will have their match at Wrestle Kingdom. Now, next up, we have Chaos, Robbie Eagles, and uh, Kaguchika Okada taking on LIJ's Bushi and Shingo Takagi. As you know, this is one of those preview matches before we go to night one of Wrestle Kingdom. And however, it was Okada who pinned Bushi to allow to send a message to Shingo. As you know, Shingo is going to put his title on the line against Okada, and this is going to be a very good one to watch, and I'm very excited. Now let's get to the finals. In World Tag League, we have House of Torture, consistent of Yujiro Takahashi and Evil, along with the spoiler Dick Togo, taking on Chaos, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. Man, this match was amazing. It told a fantastic story. As you know, Evil and Yujiro will do anything in their power to obtain more gold for themselves. But however, when they realized that the desperation is needed, Dick Togo stepped up. But all of a sudden, we saw the return of Tomohiro Ishii giving them a helping hand. But it was Yoshihashi who picked up an amazing victory against these guys, allowing themselves to win. And as you know, Hiroki Goto made a promise to look out for Yoshihashi for Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura was the one who brought him into Chaos. He looked at him as a little brother, and of course, Yoshihashi would do anything to make his big brother proud. But however, Yoshihashi has pulled up his weight, and of the bargain, so that means he is now stepping up as to be a great talent. Now, our last and final match is the Best of the Super Juniors final. We have Yo taking on Hiromu Takahashi. What a match! It was nuts, great, but however, it could have been ruined thanks to Sho. Now, I was predicting something like this could happen. Sho will not tolerate the fact that Yo is in it. He even attacked Yo, and then he tried to tell Hiromu to finish him off. But Hiromu, he wasn't going to do that. This is not the kind of match he wants. He wants to finish him off his way. But he, Sho took him out too. But here comes Lij and Chaos to help their stable mate to succeed. But Sho thought he could be weaseled in to make this into a no contest so he can step into this, but it did not work. However, it was Hiromu who won the match, and he's the one who is going straight to Wrestle Kingdom. And I have to say, this is one of the best tournaments I've ever wished it. I felt like Yo did a pretty good job, and Yoshihashi, we all know, he's pulled up a lot of good moves, and I have to say, I'm ready to see what he's really gonna do. But for now, let's move on with AEW Winter is Coming. Okay, AEW Dynamite Winter's Coming. Man, they had a great opener. We had it kicked off with the AEW World title being on the line between challenger Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. Now, the one thing I did was surprised was the fact they went over almost an hour, a 16-minute match. Now, normally in these type of matches, we don't see this happen. The time limit is mostly like 30 minutes when it comes to the title. But normally would see this type of match appear on a pay-per-view. Now, if you guys ever seen that, I've been a fan of Big Japan of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They go into that whole thing. But I think it was a great match, but I must confess to all of you, it was the worst ending ever. The reason I say this was because it ended with a time limit draw. Now, some of you can say yes, but keep in mind, this is not the first time Bryan Danielson had a no time limit in a time limit draw match. Ever since he first came to AEW, he had that with Kenny at Arthur Ashe for the Grand Slam. It ended in a time limit draw, but nothing happened from then. And I think it felt like it should have gone more, but don't get me wrong. It was a good match, but terrible ending. So, I know some people probably would expect we want to see a rematch. I don't know, but that's pretty much what happened. Now, As you know, there's history between the Elite and Chaos, mostly with the best friends. Looks like that they believe that nothing they do is going to work to make them go away. So they set up a something for next week, an 8-man tag team match. You know, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and the Bucks taking on Willard Yuta, Chuck Taylor, um, Trent, and Orange Cassidy. So this is going to be one of those feuds that will be a continuation after what happened since they were in Japan. So I'm looking forward to that. Now Wardlow was set to face against Matt Sydal. He finished him out quick, but once again the antics of Sean Spears coming. I think this is more like where I starting to see a build up here that we could see Wardlow one way or the other. He probably will leave MJF and beat the crap out of Sean Spears because every time when Wardlow wins his matches and the opponent is done, like he's already helpless, Sean Spears decided to finish him off himself, even though he's already done. But I don't know. I have that distinct feeling that we could have that sooner or later. But once again, he sent him to do errands later on. Now, saw a video package from Malachi Black. Looks like he's going to have the so-called faction that he's been dreaming about, the House of Black. And then he was talking to a guy, like initiating him into the House of Black. And he says, "You're more than a king." Now, there are now fans who are speculating it could be Brody King. Now, those who don't know, you probably ask yourselves, why is that? Isn't he in ROH? Yes, but however, he knows Malachi as well. They are currently the PWG World Tag Team Champions, and it would make sense because later we saw that um, every last week we saw Julia Hart got missed by Malachi Black. We could see a feud between them versus the Varsity Blondes, and Griff Garrison wants a piece of Malachi for what he did. But that's what I'm believing is going to happen. But we're just going to wait and see what happens either on Rampage or next week on Dynamite. Next match, this is a feud we have witnessed. Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. This is like one of those rubber matches that will go on forever. Serena Deeb made a good number, tried to attack Hikaru Shida by trying to hurt her knee. But, however, her undoing was when she removed the safety of the turnbuckle, and Shida used that against her. And it worked, allowing her to win the match. So, this was a good victory. But do we think this is going to be the end of it? I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. Now, it's already been announced for this coming Friday. Eddie Kingston will be teaming in a 10-man tag team match. He'll have in his corner Santana Ortiz, along with the Lucha Brothers, taking on Daniel Garcia 2.0 and two tag team partners of their choosing, and it's already been revealed. They're going to challenge against the Acclaim. This is going to be a very interesting match, or as Jim Ross would say, it's going to be a slobber knocker. Now, finally, our main event is the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I have to say, Dante Martin was pretty amazing. I have to say, he is definitely the future of AEW. Even MJF would say he's not worth it, but man, that match was great. Dante Martin was so close to winning, but Ricky Stark shows up, give him a little payback for what happened last time, and all of a sudden MJF won by applying the Fuji armbar, and he retained for a third time already the Diamond Ring. Here comes FTR to celebrate with him, and then all of a sudden the lights come out. Sting and Darby Allin show up, but of course MJF being the factor in helping them. Here comes CM Punk, and it's now been confirmed on Rampage we will see a trios match, or is it Wednesday? I'm not sure, but we'll see that match take place. I'm very excited to see where they're gonna go, and I have to say, now it's been confirmed that Tony Khan said right now there'll be surprises after Winter's coming, so we are going to wait and see. But right now, let's move on with news updates. Okie dokie. So we got news updates for all of you. Only two of them has been revealed. Now, as I mentioned before, we have Terminus, the latest promotion that Jonathan Gresham and Baron Brock started, has announced that we have two new participants and they're women. One is Hall. I don't know who she is, but the other one we do know who it is. Is Jordan Grace. Yes, guys, Jonathan Gresham's wife. I have to say this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. Hopefully, I get to see it, but I don't know when. Now, about a month or two ago, it was announced by Ice Ribbon that five women are leaving Ice Ribbon, the Yoshi promotion, to go on their own because they want to be involved more with hardcore and death matches. And they are Riza Serra, Kurumi Hiragi, Mochi Miyagi, Akane Fujita, and Zuzu Suzuki. Now, Zuzu, on the other hand, I have seen her involved in hardcore and death matches, and she lost her 7 match trial series. She did pretty good, and they're calling this thing that they're doing is called Prominence, which is a faction comprised of all women involved in all in hardcore death matches, and it's been announced that they will have a show this coming January on the 6th, on the 16th, no, on the 6th, right after Wrestle Kingdom. Hopefully, I get to see that too because as you know, women can do this. As you know, I've seen Rina Yamashita involved, but that's pretty much it. But if there's anything else, I will reveal it as soon as possible. But right now, I'm excited to see this. So I'll keep apprised of that. But right now, I think that's pretty much it, and I'm calling it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this entire episode, me reviewing AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and ChocoPro. There's still more to come from this. But however, the next coming episode, we have, of course, um, MLW Fusion number 13. Well, it's MLW Fusion Alpha number 13 and NXT UK. And of course, we cannot forget Impact Wrestling. I'm kind of excited for that. But I'm also going to throw in another show. This is coming from Thunder Rosa's promotion, Mission Pro with Shoot to Thrill. That's going to be something I'm enjoying to review. And I'm enjoying more of the whole thing. But right now, I believe it's time for me to call it now. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you guys adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.